Hi, Timothy Carlson here. It's almost Halloween, so that means there's going to be reissues of the movies from the Halloween franchise. Today we're taking a look at a Walmart exclusive steelbook of Rob Zombie's Halloween 1 and 2. I'm going to unbox this release and share my opinions. I do like this cover art. It's sort of done in the style of a comic book. You got like the little volume number thing on there. And then here's the back of the backing card. Underneath there we got Michael Myers with his back turned. I actually like the way that looks. Inside the package we have a digital code. We then have 2 discs, one for each film. These are the unrated director's cuts, not the theatrical cut. And then again, just to clarify, these are Blu-ray discs. They are not 4K releases. There has not been a 4K release of either of these films yet. So there's the first film from 2007. And then we have the second film, which came out in 2009. And then under here, you've got additional art. You got the Michael Myers mask on this side. And then you got more words on this side. Again, I do like the design of this steelbook. Would have been nice if they'd maybe done it in the style of Dr. Loomis's book, but I'm not at all disappointed with this design. It actually does look very nice. I'll read the description of the movies from the backing card. Rob Zombie unleashes Michael Myers on sleepy Haddonfield, Illinois for 2 rounds of mayhem and madness in this fright-filled double feature. Halloween reinvents one of film history's most terrifying tales with a retelling of the original story that unfolds at a breakneck pace and a chilling introduction revealing the secrets behind Myers' disturbing childhood. Evil has a new destiny in Halloween 2, picking up right where Halloween stops and following the aftermath of Myers' murderous rampage through the eyes of heroine Laurie Strode. I definitely respect Rob Zombie both as a filmmaker and a musician, and upon hearing that he had actually made 2 films in the Halloween series, I was certainly curious. Now, I had never seen his Halloween films until now. I guess better late than never. And I have to say, Zombie certainly has some interesting ideas, but at large, they're probably an unsuccessful experiment. The first film of the 2, I would say, is probably the better one, and the main reason for that being that Rob Zombie actually takes the time to extend Michael Myers' origin story. In the original 1978 film, we only saw about 5 minutes of Michael Myers' childhood, and then it went right back into the present day and got on with the story. Here, nearly the first half of the entire film is based around his early formative years, and I appreciate the fact that Rob Zombie actually tried to give us a little more depth and a little more origin story to this character. Unfortunately, when we get into the present day, it pretty much becomes a condensed version of the original film that rehashes musical themes, plot points, and characters. I mean, Rob Zombie can't even decide what personality he wants his version of Laurie Strode to have. I mean, there's one scene in this movie where she's making a very obscene joke to her mother, and then there's other scenes where she's trying to be the straight one amongst her friends. I always liked Jamie Lee Curtis's take on Laurie Strode because she had these 2 very promiscuous, wild friends, and she was the straight-laced one of the bunch. Rob Zombie just can't decide what he wants to do with Laurie. The second film, again, picks up where the first left off. 2 years have passed, and Laurie's still suffering from PTSD from the events of the first film. And then, of course, it's not long before there's another killing rampage, and Michael Myers is on the loose again. Unfortunately, it pretty much does end up feeling like a pretty generic sequel, and while the violence and kills are certainly cranked up, the problem here is that, once again, Rob Zombie completely fails to make Laurie Strode a likable character. In the David Gordon Green trilogy, we got a version of Laurie Strode that was, also a PTSD sufferer who had pretty much planned her whole life around getting revenge on Michael Myers should he ever return to Haddonfield. And even that bitter old grandmother version of the character is more likable than the version we get in these 2 Rob Zombie films. No disrespect to the young lady who plays the character, who does the best she can with what she's given. I do have mixed feelings on the casting of Malcolm McDowell as Dr. Sam Loomis. He's certainly an actor that has a lot of gravitas to his name, but the problem is Rob Zombie even has a hard time making him likable half the time, and becomes pretty detestable by the time the second movie comes around. The second movie even has, very bizarre visions of Michael Myers' mother and his childhood self, and this stuff just feels like it belongs in a completely different movie. So at the end of the day, It was my first time seeing these movies, and I don't know that I'm really in a rush to revisit them. I love the expanded Michael Myers origin story, but I'm not a fan of the fact that a lot of the characters are just plain unlikable, and Zombie can't quite decide what he wants to do with them. The second movie also has an absolutely terrible ending. Apparently they were planning a third Halloween film directed by Rob Zombie, but we never got that, so it's just sort of this very strange sort of limbo ending. I won't get into details here, but can't say that I was overly impressed in that regard. These are basically discs that are reissues of older Blu-ray discs, and they look just fine, but I really think that we're due for new masters of these, and of course, 4K discs, which are long overdue for the two films. Not my favorite movies in this franchise by any means, but for completion's sake, I'd like to be able to have all of them on 4K. We do get a lot of the older archival bonus features, because again, these are reissues of older discs. Apparently, these are missing some additional discs that were included in some releases of the film, so not all of the bonus features are there, but I'm glad to see there's at least some stuff here. How you'll feel about these movies is entirely open to interpretation. I have very mixed feelings about them. For everything they do good, there's also several steps back, so they are hit and miss. If you've already owned or seen these movies, you really don't need to pick this up unless you're like the most diehard of Steelbook collectors. So again, if you're a fan of the films and you don't already own them, or you're just curious and you're a Steelbook collector, then maybe take the plunge, but otherwise I'd probably hold off for the inevitable 4K release should you purchase these films at all. What do you think of Rob Zombie's two takes on Halloween? Comment down below and let me know what you think. Also, remember to subscribe to this channel for more content. I'm always posting new videos, and make sure you give this one a like if you found it helpful. I'm Taylor T. Carlson. I'll see you next time.